For the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria has been having challenges that are beckoning and waiting for answers and solutions. That is why we are bringing to you our program, State of the Nation. And this is going to come up on our flagship program this morning on ITV. I am hereby inviting you to join me, Bola BAKARE, your host, on State of the Nation, so that we can hasten the motions that brings national development. It's going to be a regular basis on Tuesdays. Make it a date with me. I'll be there waiting for you, and then we shall discuss Nigeria on an holistic level.
Welcome back to your lofty program, State of the Nation, where we hasten the motions for national development. This morning, we shall be looking at a situation that affects us all. It affects our well-being, it affects our democracy, it affects our governance, it affects our everyday life. And the topic for today's discourse is humanitarian management and poverty alleviation. From the scope of it, you will know that that topic affects us all, irrespective of who you are. Be you rich, be you poor. Whatever is happening to the poor man affects you, the rich man. You might think you are in a cocoon of your own, that nothing is going to happen to you. But can you go by road from Abuja to Kaduna? Can you go by road to your village? That is part of the impact of what we are not doing that is affecting us all. I have in here in the studio with me a man who is at the helm of affairs when it comes to humanitarian management and poverty alleviation. Join me in welcoming to the studios Dr. Umar Bindir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here this morning.
Good. Dr. Bindir is the National Coordinator for N.S.I.P, National Social Investment Program. It is an all-encompassing program that looks at all the avenues of setting things straight, of dancing to the orders of Mr. President. Because if you remember lately, Mr. President said he was going to lead a minimum of 100 million Nigerians out of the poverty level. 2, I will tell you this. For the past 5 years and counting, we have spent close on $5 billion, which is $1 billion per annum, on maintaining our humanitarian problem and poverty alleviation. But don't let me quote you the figures. Let's hear it from the man who knows the figures, who knows what is happening ab initio to date, and how they are going to continue and make Nigeria a better place for us. Dr. Bindir, kindly enlighten us. Like I said earlier, I am a student in your class this morning. You are going to tutor me and Nigerians there listening what N.S.I.P is all about, what has been achieved so far, the challenges, because I believe one thing, if you can identify the challenges, you should be able to profile solutions.
Yep.
Let's hear it from you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It is fantastic to be here.
Thank you very much.
It's a very nice morning.
Thank you very much.
Actually, you just hit the nail on the head. Poverty is distorting every aspect of our lives in this country. It doesn't matter whether you want to identify yourself as a northerner or a southerner or a Muslim or a Christian or a free thinker or a diaspora man or whatever, poverty levels in Nigeria is distorting everything.
Sure.
We are very nice people.
Yeah, I can say that.
We're very hard-working people.
Yes, of course.
We have potential for prosperity, but that gap between us and prosperity, us and absolute unity, us and peace, is poverty. Poverty is what is causing all this, if people don't know.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
our country, well, like most countries, I mean, this continent is made of 54 countries.
Of course, yes.
And amazingly, all the 54 countries, not one is a developed country. All have got poverty challenges. You know. But being the biggest country,
yes.
the hope of Africa,
yes.
Nigeria also is considered as the poverty capital, unfortunately. So, in the past, we have always tackled this issue by establishing a program here or some kind of initiative here, and then even the international development partners, when they come, it's very difficult to coordinate them as much as we want to. So
yes.
it has always been MAMSA or DIFRI or War Against Indiscipline or F.M.H.A.D.M.S.D or N.I.P or G.E.E.P and so on and so forth. So and all these programs, they live for some time, they have their effects, and then they die off. Now, so the president, in his creative thinking, said, look, if we don't structure this properly, we could continue doing this and doing it wrongly. So for the first time since we became independent, this country now has a full ministry. Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development as the Ministry of Poverty Alleviation. So irrespective of what happens, this is now the focal coordinating and cooperation facilitator to tackle poverty from all angles. And it is in the wisdom of the president and his own team that they saw that you don't need Einstein to come to Nigeria to tell you that youth unemployment, youth restiveness, and youth challenges are the key challenge in this.
Yes.
I mean, you have harsh answers and youth causing kidnapping all over them. All the clips of videos that we get of people who are on the Kaduna Road or Benin Road or whatever, kidnapping people, are all below 25 years old.
Yes.
The people who are actually
youths.
robbery and so are all below 25 years. So youth challenges is a challenge. And that is why the president and his team injected this National Social Investment Program as a youth-oriented package to intervene into all these implementing facilities of government to make sure that we douse this youth unemployment down, and then we can manage our country to a certain extent by solving the poverty step by step.
Thank you. Like you rightly said, that there are challenges along the way. Serious challenges. There is a wide lacuna waiting to be filled up with bright ideas, bright situations, and proper management. As we speak, what has N.S.I.P achieved as we speak, presently?
Well, you see, the program initially started in 2016.
Of course, yes.
And it was being implemented under the Office of the Vice President.
Yes.
So it was mimicking that program-oriented F.M.H.A.D.M.S.D, N.I.P kind of thing.
That's right.
But with the creation of the ministry in August 2019, that program has been moved to the ministry so that you have got the package of poverty eradication and intervention.
A total package, so to speak.
So this N.S.I.P is composed of 4 clusters, 4 wonderful, very, very carefully.
We would like to learn. We would like to learn.
The first cluster is the Empower. Everybody knows about Empower. It's like,
yes.
you know, some people call it Nigerian power, some people call it,
any name,
but it is and power, you know. And the Empower targets providing skills, competencies, training to young people by creatively saying all the graduates that are unemployed, come and then we'll sort you out into those people who can be able to teach in schools.
Yes.
So we attach you as volunteers to schools and we pay you a stipend of 30,000 naira. So somehow,
not a bad idea, really.
Yeah, you have a bit of, it's not salary, it's a stipend, but then you also have now an opportunity, a platform to start coming down and thinking maybe you can see the opportunities in the country. Some other groups, still graduates, we will now push you to hospitals, pharmacy, and so on and so on, so that you can volunteer as healthcare providers.
That's right.
So again, you get your 30,000 naira stipend, and maybe you can now look around and see the opportunities to employ yourself or others.
That's right.
And then the third group is the N-Agro. We are now packaging them, sending them to farms, so that they can now provide extension service with their superior thinking to farmers. This is how to plant. This is when to harvest. This is when to apply herbicide. This is how to apply fertilizer. So and all these people are initially prepared so that they can be able to do this. Now, when in 2016 we creatively, and you have to give credit to the Office of the Vice President, we did not allow to say ministers bring 10 names, the President bring 10 names, Speaker bring 10 names. No. We now deployed the highest fairness, transparency-ness, accountability-ness platform, which is the ICT platform, to say the portal is open, and then go to the portal, you yourself, and present yourself, who you are, what your details are, what you have studied, and so on and so forth. And the computers will now pile up all this information and bring it forward. And then it is numbers that sort you out so that all these nepotic behaviors will now be reduced.
Totally mitigated.
In 2016, when we opened that portal, nearly 800,000 young people actually subscribed to it.
That's good. That's a good one.
I mean, within a population of the unemployed graduate of 20 to 23 or 25 million people, that is nothing. But then, I mean, I'm sure most young people thought it's a joke. You know,
they didn't believe in it. They didn't believe it.
So when they did it, we filtered it and then pulled a batch, what we call batch A, which is around 200,000 people. And then we scattered them in these areas. And then Nigerians woke up. When we opened the portal again, around 2.5, nearly to 3 million zoomed into it. So that is good to say good. That. And I'm telling you, even me, when this started, you start thinking your ruralness. Who has access to computers? Who has email addresses? How many people have? But I'm telling you, amazingly, literally all these graduates, they are aware of the ICT capability of the country.
Yes.
We are even shocked on the reach of the network of this ICT, and people subscribing are real people. It was very encouraging. Then we did the second batch B out of that, and then we got another 250,000. And then when we opened it for the third time, around 2019, 2020, we had 6 million people on the platform. And as we speak, we are now processing the batch C1 and C2, which the President graciously approved that we should zoom it up to 1 million young people. So this is only N.Power, right? And the story of what has happened, what the successes and so on, probably will take us.
But can I query you a little bit there?
Yeah.
You said in the first batch, you had 200 out of maybe 600. In the second batch, you had 250. In the third batch, but if we compute the figures, we are talking in terms of close on 6-7 million, and then we haven't done 1 million.
Yes.
There is something mitigating that figure disparity.
You see, in this trade of social development, poverty eradication, and it's like a bulldozer.
That's right.
If you put a bulldozer to trees, soil, rock, and everything, the bulldozer will stall. Because I'm an engineer by training, so I can tell you. Oh, that's good. So now when you take things systematically, you know, you take the very best who have the potential to employ themselves and employ 2 more. So you now have 3. You get it.
It's extrapolated.
So there's a multiplier effect. So you better target very well. So in the process of screening those registrants, you will find that some people will just say Andrew. There's no Andrew Bolaji or Andrew Binder. And you know there's no just Andrew
anywhere.
So from there you say, well, Andrew, you are unemployed, but you don't seem to be as serious as we. So please sit here and wait a little bit. Then another person will say BSc.
In what?
If there's no BSc biology or chemistry or physics or agriculture or whatever, they'll say, well, okay, now he's Matthew Bolaji, but he has only BSc. BSc. So the Matthew Bolaji, you to sit here and wait a little bit, because we know that you have a BSc, but it has to be in something. So that is the screening process until you meet Bolaji Amos, BSc Economics. I have graduated in 19 this. I have been doing that. And you have the whole thing, and then you know this
man is serious, is good to go.
Good to go. So the advice is, when you are given opportunity to be able to take advantage of certain things, be serious. Because after all, you are a graduate.
That's right. Like I said, our viewers, I said we are in here for some education this morning. And Dr. Binder is doing that to us. But we won't let him go. We'll keep querying him until he brings out the best in him for us to assimilate. You said N.Power was the first part of it. What is the second one?
The second is the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. Now, The intention of this is that, look, if you close your eyes and ask the National Bureau of Statistics, go to Ministry of Education, go to UBEC, and try to see the challenges of education. Everybody is talking about challenges of education in this country. But one of the biggest challenges is that we have between 10 and 13 million children out of school. Some people call them almajiris, some people call them market boys, some people call them
all kinds of names.
Whatever. Now, this is a problem. There could be 10 years today. In the next 10 years, there will be 20. And we still feel like 10 years is... And a boy in 20 years old, who has never been in the four walls of a school, in this country, if you think you have problem now...
Is an accident waiting to happen.
Wait another... This is, in addition to the current problem, you have another 13 and more people who are... And so, President said, we must encourage subscription into schools. One of the challenges is that parents feel very weak and the children are not passing exams and dropping out and so on and so forth. So how do we increase enrollment?
That's right.
One of the things that I can tell you, sir, if you go to Wuse Market today with a pot of rice and a pot of stew, and you put it looking nicely, and you blow the whistle and say, ladies and gentlemen, here is free rice and free stew. What you will get will shock you. You will get people diving in and fighting. It means food is actually a magnet to people to... So that aspect of the feeding is now taken to schools to attract children to come and scratch. But that's not all. It's not just the attraction to increase the numbers of children going to school and reducing the numbers out of school, but then it gives hope to the children that if I'm going to have a meal at 12 o'clock or 11:30 and I must go to school at 8, I will be there sitting and listening to my teacher until 12. So that attention
will be
learning will now start going up so that children are not just joking and playing
in school, making noise.
The passing rate is the index. You will see that from class 1 to class 2, the passing rate will increase. If there were 20 passing, it will become 30 now because the children are listening to school. Secondly, it will increase their well-being because now you will see that sporting activities is wealth. And so the activities will be, and sports is the tool for peace. So you will get Christian children, Muslim children, girls and boys all jumping up and down because of the energy. And that is the peace that you are growing and the culture will improve. 3, this food has to be cooked by people. And we say the women in that community where the school is located should now be located, trained in hygiene, proper cooking, sharing to children, managing children so that they can be able to cook. So you have from feeding children, you have extended it to women in the community becoming literally entrepreneurs. So you are talking managers of hotels now, if you know what I mean.
Food contractors.
But then the women are not the ones actually who are producing the food. The farmers within the community are busy producing bitter leaf, potatoes, onions, carrots, yams, eggs, and so on and so forth. That is why you buy the food, give it to the contractors to cook, and then now you are now changing the subsistence farming within the community because you now have an off-taking facility to now farmers who are doing it. So all this, the money is trickling down, and therefore in the community you start having people, yes, now I can buy kerosene, now I can buy battery, now, and then gradually you are now picking up and getting people to actually understand that Nigeria is the land of opportunity.
And then it's like you're having a revolving economy. It's like
exactly. Now just imagine, sir. The chap who was doing the agro in Empower, after spending 1 year helping somebody in poultry, now learns, hey, I can be able to do this, and if I can do it in my community, I can be able to sell to the school feeding so that I can now become, the only problem I have is that where on earth do I get money, interest-free, collateral-free, and with a bit of training? That now leads you to the third cluster, which is the G.E.E.P, the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, which is now the program that has money for the poor, for the young people, so that they can, under market money, trader money, farmer money, can be able to take 50,000, 100,000 and go and actualize that and then enter the chain.
Thank you very much. My viewers out there, I hope you are enjoying this class. Because one of the problems we have is, in most cases, we do not see what we are looking at. In most cases, we do not listen. And when we listen, we do not listen well. But the only thing we are good at in most cases is we complain a lot. We tell the government is not doing anything. But one thing you have to know is there is no leadership without followership. There is no governance without you and I. So I am advising you now, here and now. It is pertinent on us all to sit back and learn. There are instances where you, the educated son or daughter, knows what Dr. Bindi is talking about. And your mom and your dad back at home that do not have that educational background to access whatever online, access it and be able to educate your parents who are not too old, maybe in the 50s and 60s. This is what you can do. I will do this for you. I will do that for you on a communal level. You don't have to leave your area to and say you're going to make some money in the state capital. That is highfalutin. What you do is, within your area, you can become an entrepreneur within your area. And as Dr. Bindi has educated us, you can start on a low key. The avenues are there. You should look into it. Dr. Bindi, you said there were 4 of them.
Yeah.
There is 1 to go. We are in class. We are ready.
Now, you see, you may not be young and vibrant and a graduate or non-graduate to get into N-Power.
That's right.
You might not be part of the system to participate in the school feeding program.
That's right.
You might not be somebody who has the energy and skills to say, give me money, I'll actualize it and pay you back. The last cluster is called the conditional cash transfer.
Good.
The conditional cash transfer, again, for the first time in the history of this
Nigeria,
country,
yes,
starts by saying, how many poor households do we have in this country where these poor people live? That question is answered by this package whereby we say we have to capture the information and the data on a national social register.
Yes.
So, and this is community-based. It is our community that sits like this to say, well, Dr. Bolaji, you have a car. Yes, you have 1 car. Compared to somebody who has 2 cars, relatively you are poor, but I mean you have a car. And your children, they are on N-Power, they are working, and you are eating chicken once a week. But you are not as poor as, please sit on the other side. But you look at Malang Garba, that he is sitting like this. His wife is uneducated. He has, like we know, 10 children. All of them have not been to school. And literally, it's like the house is condemned. That is a poor household. Yeah, so you now document it. So we document these type of houses all over Nigeria. And it is out of these houses that we mine, meaning we pick, as resources are made available, these houses to get 5,000 naira every month. In 2 months, they get 10,000 naira. And then we follow them to go and tell them that, look, like my mom, for example, I mean, when I was growing, we could qualify for this house, if you know what I mean.
That's right.
So you look at my mom. She knows how to extract oil out of groundnuts. So she has skills. She knows how to fry akara. She has skills. She knows how to fry guli. She has skills. She can dry and pound pepper. This is a professor of entrepreneurship.
That's
but
right.
Yet, my mom is always struggling. She died very, very poor with all these skills. The reason is because, yes, she could be in this house. No one has come to talk to her to say that, Mama, if you were only to get 2 mudu of groundnuts, you know how to extract the oil and fry the akara. We will come and buy all the akara.
From you.
In 1 week, my mom could do maybe 10 mudus, right? This aspect of waking up to say, hey, it's true.
There's a ready
smoke
market.
Fish. So this is now the package of the conditional cash transfer. And then we go to these houses with a program to say, this is not just to now buy credit for your telephone or to now spend it. Use part of it and wake your system up, and then gradually we will now also start mainstreaming you to be included in the economy of Nigeria. So that cluster is called the conditional cash transfer. Based on your condition, we transfer the cash. The National Social Register is a bag of these poor households. If it is shrinking, then we are succeeding. If it is increasing, then we have a big
we have to redraft
exactly.
that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The education is proper. But at the same time, there are we cannot help but factor in the average Nigerian. We are a peculiar people. God has blessed us in His own way. And then we have our own peculiarities that is still keeping us together as we speak. And like you rightly said, we've been able to identify our problems and challenges, and we are trying to work out solutions to them. Albeit, maybe we are wobbling, we are feebling along the line, but we are still moving, because life in itself is work in progress, and then we are still doing something. But another thing I would like to look at is this element of some of the challenges along the line that might mitigate this program. There was a time during the COVID-19 that the average, let's say the state governments were running accusations at the ministry that how come some of these palliatives were warehoused in some states. Nobody knew about them until my fellow Nigerians boggled the warehouses. It was then we now knew that, wow, a 600 by 600 warehouse is filled with palliatives and it doesn't come down the line. I guess this is a situation for us to look at, where Nigerians put the blame on the minister here in Abuja, whereas the blame should have been apportioned to the state governments, who are the subdivision of the ministry when it comes to handing of palliatives. What do you think about a situation like that happening or recurring?
Doctor, you see, I am the national coordinator of the National Social Investment Program,
Yes.
which is a tiny component of this big picture ministry.
Yes.
The main ministry handles humanitarian, social development, and all the disabled, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So, and I like being consistent in the sense that do what you are good at doing well.
That's right.
Then you can add to the development equation.
That's right.
The humanitarian activities is handled in the ministry by a very young, dynamic gentleman called Dr. Grema Ali.
Good.
Very sharp. And literally, the Honorable Minister, who is what I call the Madam Humanitarian, she was very, very carefully selected, to actually handle this. But the key challenge, forget about the micro bits and pieces.
This is along the line.
The dynamo who is coagulating all of us to make sure that we move in a straight line based on the civil service structure is the permanent secretary. And the current permanent secretary, I call him, if the minister is a senior dynamo, he is the intermediate dynamo. And we at the bottom are the junior dynamo. Well,
let me throw another question at you, and kindly make it your last word, because time is not on our side. I said something about typical Nigerians. You see, when it comes to beneficiaries of this program of N.S.I.P, I believe one thing in Nigeria. Most Nigerians use their positions to infringe on your operations, either you like it or not. Be they ministers, be they senators, be they anything, they infringe on it. They come up with things that you call a special list. Here, put my person on it. Here, put my person on it. And you can't do without taking them. So because there are instances, I have seen instances where names submitted were names of dead people. Where names are names that are non-existent. So what are you doing to mitigate this? Make it very short, because you are not, maybe next time I'll call you to educate us again. But tell us, what are you doing to mitigate this small anomaly?
Well, very quickly, part of the challenges we have in our country is these islands, and the territorialness that we have. This is my thing. I am state government. I am local government. I am federal government. I am Ministry of Water. I am Ministry. So that, I think, gradually is dowsing down, because people are realizing that nobody with any mandate can be able to fulfill their mandate only by them. You must get someone else.
People together.
And gradually we are coagulating. So secondly, as you said, the nepotic behavior of Nigerians saying,
there.
You see, the way, for example, we share N-Power and all this in terms of numbers is that to douse this, the first thing you have to understand is that it doesn't matter, no matter what you do. If there are 3 shares for Adamawa State, for example, and whoever select these three people, the 3 people are in Adamawa State. That is the most important thing.
That is, it stays there in Adamawa, irrespective of where it's coming from.
If you see they are all Christians, Muslim will complain. If you see they are all Muslim, Christian. If two are Muslims and one is Christian, you know. So this is very Nigerian as we put it. But then we put 4 indices as approved by our minister. First, this is poverty eradication. Therefore, we have been to the National Bureau of Statistics. What are the poverty incidences in the states in Nigeria? And they have given us that data.
That's good.
Every state has an index. Sokoto, in terms of that data, is the poorest with 88% head count of poverty, while Lagos is around 4.3 or so. So when you share, 15% of the pool should be on the basis of poverty. So Sokoto will get a little bit more than Lagos. So you put that number.
On that note, thank you very much, because time is not on our side.
All right, then.
That has been Dr. Umar Bindir, the National Coordinator for N.S.I.P. He has been able to educate us. He has educated me about the workings of N.S.I.P. I guess we are going to key into it. For those that do not know, learn from ITV this morning. Dr. Bindir, if you leave now, I can make you a promise. I am going to bring you back to come and educate us. It's a pleasure having you on this program. Thank you very much.
Stay safe.
For the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria has been having challenges that are beckoning and waiting for answers and solutions. That is why we are bringing to you our program, State of the Nation. And this is going to come up on our flagship program this morning on ITV. I am hereby inviting you to join me, Bola BAKARE, your host, on State of the Nation, so that we can hasten the motions that brings national development. It's going to be a regular basis on Tuesdays. Make it a date with me. I'll be there waiting for you, and then we shall discuss Nigeria on an holistic level.